9 shocking signs. Someone secretly dislikes you. Denzel Washington motivation, Stoicism. Listen up, because I'm about to share some hard-hitting truths that will change the way you see the people around you and help you guard your heart and mind. In today's world, it's not about being liked. It's about understanding human behavior, protecting your energy, and making sure you're not wasting time on those who aren't genuine. In this video from Stoic in Your Life, we're going to break down 9 shocking signs that someone secretly dislikes you. These are the subtle clues that show when someone's faking it, pretending to be your friend, or even actively undermining you behind your back. Here's the thing. People don't always wear their emotions on their sleeve, but they will give you signs if you know what to look for. In today's society, so many are wearing masks, hiding their true feelings, pretending everything's fine while they're silently judging or harboring negative emotions. But you're about to learn how to spot those red flags, how to read between the lines, and how to protect yourself in a world where not everyone has your best interest at heart. So grab a seat, because by the end of this video you'll be able to see through the games people play. And trust me, that's a superpower you want. Number 1. Body language. Body language is a powerful communicator that often reveals more than words ever could. It's said that actions speak louder than words, and in human interactions, this is certainly true. While someone may express kind words or gestures, their body can betray a different truth. Subtle body cues, whether the person is aware of them or not, often show how they truly feel. For example, if someone avoids eye contact, keeps their distance, or crosses their arms. These are clear signals of discomfort or disinterest. The body instinctively creates barriers when feeling defensive or disconnected. Even small things like the direction of a person's feet or shoulders can indicate their intentions. If they're turned away or their feet point toward the exit, it suggests they want to disengage. A forced smile or one that doesn't reach the eyes is another clue that the person may not be genuinely connected. These signs, though subtle, can speak volumes. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." By observing these signals without judgment, we turn potential setbacks into opportunities for reflection and growth. Recognizing these cues allows us to remain calm, not taking offense, and understanding that someone else's discomfort isn't a reflection of our worth. It's simply an opportunity to practice emotional resilience and not internalize their feelings. In today's fast-paced world, where social interactions can be brief and surface level, being attuned to these subtle cues gives us a valuable insight into others' true feelings. People aren't always open with their emotions, and their words can differ from their true feelings. Body language often reveals what words hide: discomfort, disengagement, or disinterest. While it's tempting to react emotionally to these signs, modern Stoicism teaches us to observe, reflect, and not immediately respond to every emotional cue. Instead of allowing body language to destabilize us, we should see it as an opportunity to practice emotional detachment. When someone's posture suggests they're not engaged, we can step back and ask ourselves, what can I control here? Realizing that we only control our reactions and not others allows us to move forward without anxiety. This mindset, rooted in modern Stoicism, helps us disengage from emotional turmoil and stay grounded in our sense of self. By detaching from the need for approval, we create space for healthier, more authentic relationships and become less vulnerable to misinterpreted body language. Understanding body language isn't about obsessively analyzing every gesture. It's about becoming more aware of the unspoken dynamics around us. By noticing how people communicate non-verbally, we can avoid misunderstandings. Modern Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control how others feel, we can control how we react, maintaining our emotional balance. Rather than reacting with frustration, defensiveness, or self-doubt, we can choose to observe objectively. We may acknowledge that not everyone will connect with us, and that's okay. What matters is that we remain true to ourselves and are not disturbed by the judgments or body language of others. Practicing this detachment preserves our emotional well-being, allowing us to interact with others from a place of calm and serenity. The more we tune into these nonverbal signals without judgment, the more we cultivate inner peace, a cornerstone of modern Stoicism. By adopting this approach, we can face social interactions with an open heart and a calm mind, knowing that we are in control of our emotional responses, regardless of the body language around us. Number 2. Communication desert. Building meaningful relationships requires effort, trust, and most importantly, communication. Communication forms the foundation of all relationships, whether they are romantic, platonic, or professional. It's how we connect, share our thoughts and emotions, and build bonds with others. But what happens when the communication starts to fade or, worse yet, disappears completely? You find yourself stuck in what I like to call a communication desert, where once thriving conversations turn into silence. Despite your best efforts, the other person seems increasingly distant, and each attempt to connect feels like you're fighting an uphill battle. This is a reality that many of us face at some point in our lives, and it can be a tough one to swallow. You try reaching out to someone, hoping to talk about something important or simply catch up, but all you get in return are one-word responses, or even worse, no response at all. At first you might tell yourself that they're just busy, but over time you start to notice a pattern. They always seem too busy when it comes to you, yet they somehow have time for others. You start to feel frustrated. Texts go unanswered, plans get canceled last minute, and the conversation feels increasingly one-sided. It's exhausting. You find yourself asking, why am I the one always reaching out? Why do I put in all this effort when they barely seem to care? It's in these moments that you need to step back and pay attention. What you're experiencing is a clear sign that someone might not be as invested in the relationship as you are. When someone truly values you, communication becomes a priority, not a chore. People who care about you will make an effort to stay in touch, even when life gets busy. They will respond to your messages, engage in conversations, and make time to connect. When they don't care, though, communication starts to feel forced. They become distant, and you are left wondering if you're the only one trying to keep the connection alive. So, what do you do when you find yourself in this communication desert? First, don't take it personally. It's easy to feel hurt when someone isn't reciprocating your efforts, but the truth is, not everyone will prioritize you the way you prioritize them. That's just how life works. Instead of letting this drain your energy, remind yourself that you deserve better. You deserve to be in relationships, whether with friends, family, or romantic partners, where communication is natural, where both parties are equally invested, and where mutual respect is the foundation. True connections are built on shared effort, understanding, and a willingness to show up for one another. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you were the only one reaching out, but the other person just wasn't meeting you halfway? How did that make you feel? Wasn't it draining to constantly try to keep a conversation going with someone who wasn't showing any real interest? How did that change the way you viewed that relationship? In these situations, it's important to ask yourself, is this relationship worth my time and energy? If the answer is no, it's okay to let go and redirect your efforts elsewhere. This is where Stoicism offers valuable insight. According to Stoic philosophy, we should focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. You can't control how others behave, but you can control how you respond. So, instead of wasting your emotional energy on relationships that drain you, invest your time and energy into people who truly value your presence. The Stoic secret is simple. You deserve reciprocal relationships where communication flows naturally, where both sides make an effort, and where mutual respect is a given. When you focus on nurturing these types of connections, you'll find that you not only protect your emotional energy, but you'll also feel more fulfilled and at peace with your relationships. The lesson here is clear. Don't chase after people who aren't willing to meet you halfway. You don't need to work hard to earn someone's respect or affection. If someone truly values you, they'll show it through their actions. Seek out those who understand the importance of a genuine, two-way relationship. Surround yourself with people who make an effort to listen, respond, and make you feel seen and heard. Relationships are not about one-sided effort. They are about mutual respect and understanding. When you invest in the right relationships, you'll find that communication becomes effortless, and the connections you build will be deeper and more lasting. Take a moment to reflect on your own relationships. Are they fulfilling? Are you giving more than you're receiving? It's a tough question, but an important one to ask. The Stoic approach teaches us that we deserve relationships that respect our time, effort, and emotional energy. So, if you find yourself in a communication desert, don't settle. You are worthy of so much more. Focus on those who make the effort and remember that true connection is always mutual. Number 3. Last minute. If you constantly find yourself being the last person invited to events or only contacted when everyone else is unavailable, it's a clear sign that you are not being treated as a priority. Whether in friendships or professional relationships, real connections are built on trust, effort, and consistency. Invitations should reflect the value someone places on your presence, and if you're often included only when all other options fall through, it suggests that you are not viewed as a top priority. In today's fast-paced world where time is a scarce and precious resource, it's essential to surround ourselves with people who recognize our value and make an effort to include us, not just when it's convenient, but because they genuinely appreciate us. Life is full of demands, work, family, personal goals, so we should be mindful of who truly makes an effort to engage with us. As modern Stoicism teaches, while we can't control the actions of others, we can choose how we respond. So when you're repeatedly treated as an afterthought, it's crucial to approach the situation with calm reflection, rather than anger or frustration. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you find yourself continuously treated as a backup plan, it's important not to take it personally. Instead, reflect on what this reveals about the relationship. It's a reminder to focus on your own response and reassess whether this relationship aligns with your values. Stoicism encourages us to evaluate situations without being overwhelmed by emotions, using challenges as opportunities for growth. This situation is a clear sign that someone's effort or consideration toward you is lacking, and it may be time to reconsider whether the relationship is worth investing in. Healthy relationships should be mutually supportive, requiring genuine effort from both sides. Being invited as an afterthought often indicates that the other person does not value you as they should. It's not a reflection of your worth, but a sign of their priorities. As human beings, we deserve relationships where we are valued and included, not as a secondary option, but as an important part of someone's life. If you find yourself repeatedly being treated this way, it's important to reassess whether you should continue investing in that relationship. Life is too short to spend time in relationships where your presence is only valued when no one else is available. Modern Stoicism teaches that we should focus our energy on the things we can control. While you can't control how others treat you, you can control your response. Recognizing that you are being treated as an afterthought should prompt you to set boundaries and refocus your energy on relationships that are more fulfilling. Take a moment to consider how you spend your time. If you are regularly invited at the last minute, it may be a sign to reassess your boundaries. You deserve to be treated with care and respect. Be intentional about where you invest your time and attention. Look for people who make an effort to include you from the start, those who show that they genuinely want your company. This is not only a Stoic principle, but a fundamental part of building healthy, balanced relationships. Consider the quality of the relationships you maintain. Are you treated with consistent thoughtfulness, or are you always a backup option? Recognizing that you deserve better is the first step in making healthier decisions about your social and professional circles. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Time is precious, and it should not be wasted on relationships that don't offer genuine care or consideration. When you are invited only as a last-minute option, view it as an opportunity to reflect on the relationship and your worth. Don't take it personally. Instead, Use Stoic principles to detach emotionally and make decisions based on what is best for your well-being. You have the power to choose relationships that nourish and enrich your life, and you should never settle for being treated as an afterthought. Invest your time in relationships where your presence is valued, not just when it's convenient, but because you are an important part of someone's life. Seek out people who plan to include you, not because they have no other options, but because they genuinely want to share experiences with you. By prioritizing intentional, thoughtful relationships, you will build a supportive social circle that contributes positively to your life. Living according to the values of modern Stoicism will help you create a life where your presence is respected and valued, not just when convenient, but because you truly matter to those around you. We've covered 3 strong signs that someone might not be that into you: body language, communication breakdowns, and last-minute invitations. Which one stands out to you the most? Is it how someone's body language gives them away? Or how communication fades over time? Or when you're just brought in as a backup? Leave a comment with which of the 3 signs stood out to you the most. And don't forget to stick around until the end, because the last 3 signs are full of surprises that could completely change the way you view your relationships. Number 4. Comparison trap. One of the clearest signs that someone may secretly dislike you is their constant tendency to compare you to others, often subtly pointing out your shortcomings or offering backhanded compliments disguised as praise. These remarks might initially seem harmless or even flattering, but they are often designed to undermine your self-esteem. For instance, phrases like, "That's pretty good for you," or "You did well considering," may seem like compliments at first glance, but in reality, they minimize your achievements and reduce your sense of accomplishment. These types of comments are often a tactic used by insecure individuals who attempt to boost their own self-worth by belittling others. Rather than offering genuine praise, they subtly push you down in order to lift themselves up. Over time, this behavior can have a significant negative impact, eroding your confidence and leaving you questioning your value. Healthy relationships, on the other hand, are built on respect and mutual admiration, where compliments are sincere and support is given freely. People who genuinely care about you celebrate your achievements without comparing you to others. If someone consistently points out your flaws or ignores your successes, it's a clear indication that their feelings towards you aren't rooted in respect or admiration. Instead, they may be projecting their own insecurities onto you, hoping to make themselves feel better. Recognizing this pattern is the first step in protecting your emotional well-being. By understanding that these remarks stem from the other person's own feelings of inadequacy, you can choose not to internalize them. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This wisdom is especially useful when dealing with people who use comparisons to undermine you. The key is in how we respond to these backhanded remarks. If we can recognize these comments as projections of the speaker's insecurities, we can detach emotionally from them and maintain our self-worth. We don't need to let others' negativity define us. By practicing emotional resilience, we can deflect these jabs and remain confident in who we are. This ability to stay grounded in our own sense of worth, despite external criticism, is a cornerstone of modern Stoicism. Modern Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control, our reactions. We cannot control how others behave or what they say, but we can control how we choose to respond. By learning to observe these comments without reacting emotionally, we can create a space between the stimulus, their words, and our response. This allows us to respond thoughtfully, instead of reacting impulsively from a place of insecurity. In this way, Stoicism helps us detach from the toxic cycle of comparison and judgment, enabling us to live more peacefully and authentically. In today's competitive and often superficial world, where social interactions are frequently driven by comparison, it's crucial to remember that our worth is not defined by others' opinions, especially by those who seek to undermine us. Instead of letting someone else's attempt to invalidate your achievements affect you, focus on your own personal growth. Realize that the validation you seek should come from within, not from those who don't truly have your best interests at heart. By embracing this mindset, we can free ourselves from the toxic cycle of comparison. We can focus on cultivating relationships with those who truly support and celebrate our growth, and in turn, we can offer the same to others. In the modern world, it's easy to get caught in the comparison trap, especially in environments where competition is often celebrated, and social media amplifies feelings of inadequacy. However, by adopting modern Stoicism, we can step outside this cycle and focus on our own development. By practicing emotional detachment, we learn to see others' comparisons for what they are, expressions of their own insecurities. We can then choose to focus on the people who encourage our growth and see us for who we truly are. Embracing the wisdom of modern Stoicism helps us rise above the comparison trap. We start to recognize that our value is not determined by others, but by the choices we make and the integrity with which we live our lives. As we practice emotional resilience and detachment, we become less vulnerable to subtle criticisms or backhanded compliments. We can stand firm in our self-worth, knowing that we are worthy, capable, and strong, regardless of what others may think or say. In this way, modern Stoicism teaches us how to rise above negativity and embrace the path of personal growth, inner peace, and meaningful connections. Number 5. Energy vampire. Have you ever spent time with someone and walked away feeling completely drained? Despite what seemed like a friendly interaction, you feel overwhelmed by exhaustion. This is the work of an energy vampire. These individuals can appear charming and kind on the surface, but they slowly deplete your emotional and mental reserves without offering anything in return. Their smiles and polite conversation mask their true intentions, leaving you mentally foggy and physically spent. Over time, if you don't recognize this pattern, it can become harmful. Have you ever left a conversation feeling exhausted, even though it seemed fine at the time? How often have you ignored that feeling, brushing it off as a coincidence? Deep down, you knew something wasn't right. That's the subtle but damaging effect of an energy vampire. Energy vampires are skilled at drawing you into their world of negativity and emotional neediness. If you're not careful, you can end up caught in a cycle where you're constantly giving, but never receiving. This dynamic can be seen in friendships, romantic relationships, and even in professional settings. But how do you differentiate between an energizing relationship and one that drains you? It's simple. It's about how you feel after spending time with someone. If you feel mentally foggy, anxious, or physically depleted, that's your body telling you something isn't right. Your intuition is key. Trust it. Don't ignore those feelings because they often point to a hidden truth. Someone is taking from you without giving back. Here's a Stoic secret. We can't control how others behave, but we can control how we react. We have the power to set boundaries and protect our emotional health. If someone consistently drains you, it's not selfish to distance yourself. It's necessary. This is what Stoicism teaches us, to prioritize what's within our control, especially our energy and well-being. Setting boundaries with energy vampires is not just okay, it's essential. Let me tell you a story about a close friend of mine. She was in a toxic friendship where she was always the one listening, offering advice, and being supportive, but never got the same in return. Her friend only reached out when they needed something, and every meeting felt like it centered around that person's drama. At first, my friend kept giving, thinking things would balance out if she just put in a little more effort. But after each interaction, she felt emotionally exhausted, as though she'd just run a marathon. It wasn't just that her friend was going through a tough time. It was that this friend had become an energy vampire. Eventually, my friend realized she needed to set boundaries. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary, and when she did, she felt lighter, happier, and more energized. She could now focus on relationships that truly nurtured her. This is the kind of energy you deserve too. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever had a friend coworker, or partner who drained you every time you interacted with them? What impact did that have on your energy, mood, and overall well-being? The key takeaway here is that you are not obligated to keep giving to people who don't reciprocate. If someone is consistently taking from you without giving anything back, it's time to protect your space. Focus on relationships where there's a mutual exchange of positivity and care. Do you feel energized after spending time with certain people, or do you feel drained? How can you shift your focus toward relationships that are more fulfilling and supportive? The Stoic secret to handling energy vampires is simple. You cannot change others, but you can control your environment. Set boundaries, choose who you give your energy to, and invest in relationships where positivity is shared. You deserve people who lift you up, not those who pull you down. Remember, energy is precious. Protect it. The lesson here is that just as we're selective with our time, we must also be selective with who we share our energy with. Healthy relationships, whether personal or professional, should feel like a two-way street, not a one-sided drain. It's okay to say no to those who take more than they give. By doing so, you free up space for the relationships that truly matter, those that help you grow, inspire you, and fill your life with positive energy. When you prioritize your well-being and set boundaries with energy vampires, you'll find yourself surrounded by people who value you, and your energy will thrive as a result. Number 6. Gossip game. Gossip is a subtle yet powerful tool often used by those who harbor hidden resentment or animosity toward you. When someone secretly dislikes you, they may resort to gossip to undermine your reputation and control how others perceive you. This form of passive aggression can be difficult to detect, but its impact can be far-reaching. Gossip often involves twisting your words, misrepresenting personal details, or even inventing outright lies. It stems from the gossiper's insecurity, as they attempt to elevate themselves by tearing others down, often viewing your strengths or successes as a threat. The effects of gossip can be devastating, especially when you're unaware that it's happening. You might start noticing subtle shifts in how others treat or speak to you, or you might hear rumors circulating that paint you in a negative light. These rumors can erode relationships, alienate friends, and leave you feeling confused about your standing. Gossip is rarely innocent. It's not about sharing harmless information, but about controlling perceptions and making you appear inferior or untrustworthy, even when the truth is quite the opposite. The realization that someone you trust has spread false narratives about you can feel like a betrayal. The temptation to retaliate, to spread your own counter-rumors or confront the gossiper, is strong, but acting on this impulse only fuels the negativity and diminishes your own integrity. The philosophy of modern Stoicism offers invaluable wisdom on how to handle such situations. As Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Gossip may be painful, but it is a reflection of the insecurity of the person spreading it, not a reflection of who you truly are. The key to handling gossip is to rise above it. Instead of allowing others' words and actions to dictate your emotional state, focus on maintaining your authenticity and integrity. Let your actions speak for themselves, and stand firm in your truth. In a world where impressions are often based on fleeting judgments, those who truly care about you will see through the lies. Responding to gossip with grace is essential. Often confronting the gossiper or engaging in a dramatic showdown only escalates the situation. It's not always necessary to engage with the person spreading rumors. In many cases, the most effective solution is simply distancing yourself from the negativity and the person responsible for it. Surround yourself with a small circle of people who genuinely know and appreciate you for who you truly are. Authentic relationships, where you are valued for your true character, will provide the support you need when others try to tear you down. Modern Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and to let go of what we cannot. You cannot control the actions of others, but you can control how you respond. Choosing to remain calm and centered in the face of gossip, instead of reacting impulsively, allows you to protect your peace and integrity. Seneca, Another Stoic philosopher reminds us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Often, the anxiety we feel when hearing gossip is worse than the actual situation itself. By remaining grounded in your own self-worth, you will find that gossip and rumors lose their power over time. Though gossip can feel like a personal betrayal, it is important to recognize that it reveals more about the character of the person spreading it than about you. Those who spread falsehoods often do so out of their own insecurities or a desire to manipulate others. Their actions reflect their weaknesses, not your flaws. As difficult as it may be, don't let their attempts to undermine you affect your peace of mind. Instead, focus on living with integrity and authenticity. Trust that those who matter will see through the lies and recognize you for who you truly are. When faced with gossip, do not let it define you. At its core, gossip is merely noise. Empty words meant to create discord and division. It says more about the person spreading it than about you. Therefore, rather than engaging with gossip or allowing it to disrupt your peace, continue to live honorably, maintain your sense of self, and surround yourself with people who value you. The wisdom of modern Stoicism teaches us that we are only truly affected by those things that we allow to affect us. By choosing not to engage with gossip, you take control of your peace and your narrative. Your true worth will become evident, and those who matter will see beyond the lies. Which sign stood out to you the most? Was it the comparison trap, the energy vampire, or the gossip game? Let us know by commenting with just one word: comparison, energy, or gossip. And don't forget to watch until the end, because the last 3 signs are full of surprises that might change the way you view relationships. Number 7. Undercurrent. One of the most telling signs that someone secretly dislikes you is their inability to celebrate your successes. Instead of sharing in your excitement or showing pride in your achievements, they may react with indifference or dismissive comments. This often stems from envy or insecurity, where they feel threatened by your progress. Rather than acknowledging your hard work, they may downplay your success with comments like, "That's nice, but so-and-so did something similar last year," subtly turning your victory into a competition. This response can feel deeply hurtful, especially when it comes from someone you considered a friend. It highlights their internal struggles, not a reflection of your worth. In contrast, those who truly care about you will see your success as a reason to celebrate, not a threat. They will offer sincere praise and genuine support without comparisons. True friends recognize that your achievements don't take anything away from theirs. They inspire everyone to do better. This healthy dynamic fosters mutual respect, where both parties cheer each other on. If someone consistently fails to celebrate your victories or diminishes them, it's time to reassess the relationship. A supportive connection is about growth, not competition. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This is a reminder that our responses to others are more important than their actions. When someone cannot celebrate your success, it's crucial not to internalize their behavior. Instead, recognize that their reaction is driven by their own insecurities, not by your worth. By detaching emotionally, we can maintain our self-esteem and avoid letting their negativity affect our joy. Modern Stoicism teaches us emotional resilience. While we cannot control how others react, we can control how we respond. By focusing on what we can control, our emotions and reactions, we free ourselves from the toxic cycle of comparison. We don't need validation from those who fail to support us. Instead, we should surround ourselves with people who genuinely uplift us. In today's competitive world, it's important to remember that our value is not defined by others' opinions. True friends celebrate our growth without needing to put others down, and they inspire us to do the same. When faced with envy or competition, remember that the issue lies with the other person's insecurities, not your success. By practicing modern Stoicism, we can rise above these dynamics and focus on relationships built on trust and mutual respect. Our accomplishments are a testament to our hard work and dedication, and we should celebrate them, regardless of how others react. By embracing Stoic principles, we free ourselves from the need for external validation and cultivate authentic connections where success is shared joy, not a battleground. Number 8. Passive aggression. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone's words left you feeling uncomfortable, but you couldn't quite pinpoint why? They might smile, yet their words sting, like a hidden jab wrapped in a joke or a sarcastic comment. This is what we call passive aggression. It's a subtle form of manipulation where someone expresses negative feelings, frustration or resentment, without directly confronting the issue. Instead, they disguise it as sarcasm, veiled criticism, or humor, making you second-guess yourself. For example, someone might say, "Oh, you did well today for once," or, "I'm sure you'll figure it out, eventually." At first, these comments might seem like harmless jokes, but there's an underlying hostility. You might find yourself wondering, are they really upset with me or just joking around? That confusion is the essence of passive aggression. It keeps you in a constant state of uncertainty, unsure of how to react and vulnerable to emotional manipulation. The emotional toll of passive-aggressive behavior is often greater than it appears. It can leave you feeling hurt, uncomfortable, or disrespected, but because the negativity is disguised with humor or politeness, you might not even realize what's bothering you. It's like being trapped in a puzzle where the pieces don't fit, and the uncertainty slowly wears you down. The core issue here is the deliberate avoidance of direct confrontation, allowing the person to hide their true feelings while still communicating their disdain. Over time, this ambiguity can erode your confidence and self-worth. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling unsettled, but unsure why? That's the subtle power of passive aggression at work, chipping away at your sense of security. The Stoic secret to dealing with passive-aggressive behavior is rooted in clarity and self-control. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can control how we respond. When faced with passive aggression, the best approach is to stay firm, calm, and direct. Don't let these jabs slide unnoticed. Address the comment with clarity. This is where Stoic self-control comes into play. For example, if someone makes a passive-aggressive remark, instead of retaliating with sarcasm or anger, you could calmly say, "I'm not sure I understand what you meant by that." This approach brings their behavior into the open and disarms its power over you. By focusing on the behavior instead of reacting emotionally, you remove the hidden layer of manipulation. Let me share a story that might resonate with you. A close colleague of mine had to deal with passive-aggressive behavior from a coworker. This coworker would often make backhanded compliments like, "Well, that's the best work I've seen from you today," or, "You actually nailed that presentation for once." At first, my colleague brushed it off, thinking it was just part of office banter. But over time, these comments began to erode their confidence. They started questioning their abilities, wondering if they were truly respected. Eventually, my colleague decided to address the situation directly. Instead of reacting defensively, they calmly said, "I don't quite understand the tone of your comment. Can we talk about it?" This shifted the dynamic. The co-worker's defensiveness crumbled, and the conversation revealed the underlying tension. From that point on, the relationship changed, and my colleague regained their sense of self-respect. This story teaches us an important lesson. Passive aggression thrives in ambiguity, but clarity disarms it. Have you ever felt manipulated by someone's indirect behavior? How did it make you feel? Confused, frustrated, or perhaps a little defeated? Recognizing passive-aggressive behavior is the first step in breaking free from its grip. The best way to protect your emotional well-being is to trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't let these toxic behaviors slide without addressing them. You have the power to confront manipulation head-on. By calling it out respectfully, you regain control of the situation and protect your mental space. The Stoic approach to this is simple but profound. While we can't control others, we can control our reactions. So, the next time you encounter passive aggression, Don't shy away. Confront it calmly, set boundaries, and maintain your peace. You deserve relationships where respect is mutual, not where negativity is hidden behind smiles. Passive aggression, like all forms of manipulation, loses its power when faced with clarity and self-assurance. By standing firm, you protect your energy and preserve your emotional strength. Remember, you are in control of how you allow others to treat you. The Stoic secret is to rise above negativity with clarity, calmness, and integrity. Number 9. Inconsistency. Inconsistent behavior is a clear indication that someone may not be emotionally invested in your relationship. One minute they are warm, attentive, and engaged, but the next, they are distant, cold, or unresponsive. This erratic behavior can be exhausting as you constantly try to figure out where you stand and whether the connection is genuine or merely fleeting. The emotional toll of never knowing where you truly stand can lead to confusion and frustration, especially when you are hoping to build something meaningful. In contrast, people who are genuinely committed to a relationship show consistency in their actions, words, and presence. They offer steady support, whether emotionally or physically, and maintain open communication. Relationships built on consistency are grounded in trust, stability, and mutual respect, providing both individuals with the security to grow together. On the other hand, inconsistency leaves you with mixed signals and confusion, as the relationship feels unstable and unreliable, leading to self-doubt and insecurity. The reality is that inconsistency is beyond your control. It can be frustrating to invest time and energy into someone who isn't reciprocating the effort. You may question if you're overthinking or misreading the situation, but it's crucial to understand that you cannot change someone's behavior if they aren't committed to being consistent. No matter how much you try, you can't force someone to be reliable or trustworthy if they aren't invested in doing so. In these cases, continuing to chase after someone whose behavior is unpredictable often leads to more emotional exhaustion. Instead of trying to make sense of their inconsistency, it's healthier to focus your energy on building relationships with people who offer the stability and consistency you need. As Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely stated, wealth consists not in having great possessions but in having few wants. Similarly, in relationships, consistency, like trust and respect, is a form of wealth that enriches your life. It's not something you should take for granted, but rather something you should actively seek. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of chasing uncertain relationships, hoping that things will improve or stabilize. However, modern Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. You cannot control another person's emotional investment, but you can control where you invest your own energy. Recognizing the signs of inconsistency in relationships gives you the power to make better decisions that protect your emotional well-being. Instead of continuing to invest in someone who isn't showing up for you consistently, direct your energy toward people who are reliable and present. Consistency has a simple yet powerful beauty. When someone's behavior is consistent, it removes the confusion and emotional strain that often accompanies unreliable relationships. Consistency builds trust, offering both parties a sense of security and stability, allowing emotional intimacy and practical support to thrive. As Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True freedom in relationships comes from investing in people who are dependable, those who are consistent in their efforts to maintain the relationship. By setting boundaries around inconsistency, you protect your peace of mind and open the door to relationships that foster growth and stability. Recognizing inconsistency allows you to make smarter choices about where you direct your time and energy. Instead of trying to fix a relationship that is fundamentally unstable, focus on nurturing connections with people who are clear and consistent in their intentions. Let go of the emotional turmoil that comes with uncertainty and create space for the kind of stability that will allow you to build deeper, more fulfilling relationships. Modern Stoicism teaches us to focus on controlling our reactions to things we cannot change and this applies to relationships as well. You have the power to decide which relationships are worth your energy, and the quality of those relationships will shape your emotional health. Consistency is key to cultivating the deep, long-lasting connections that lead to true fulfillment. We've covered all 9 signs that someone might secretly dislike you. Which ones did you experience? Leave a comment with how many signs you noticed, from 1 to 9, and be sure to stay tuned until the end. In Part B, we'll share practical tips on how to handle these situations. You don't want to miss it. Advanced strategies. Number 1. Human dynamics. To effectively understand the signs of insincerity and protect your energy, it's essential to develop a deeper awareness of human behavior. Relationships are rarely straightforward, as they are shaped by a variety of underlying factors such as insecurities, fears, or past experiences. Everyone you meet carries emotional baggage that influences how they interact with others, including you. By learning to observe subtle cues, like body language, tone of voice, and word choice, you can gain insight into their true feelings. Emotional intelligence is vital for recognizing these cues, enabling you to interpret people's behaviors and intentions accurately. When you understand how others communicate beyond their words, you can protect your emotional energy and respond in ways that maintain your well-being. The key is to observe hidden dynamics in every interaction, acknowledging that someone's external behavior may not align with their internal emotions. As Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely stated, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This quote underscores the importance of careful listening and observing to better understand human dynamics. By developing this skill, you can wisely decide where to invest your emotional energy and avoid draining relationships. Those who excel at emotional intelligence handle complex social situations with grace, never allowing toxic relationships to drain them. Rather than reacting impulsively to negative comments or behaviors, emotionally intelligent individuals know how to process their feelings, detach from toxic energy, and maintain their peace. In the modern world, this ability is crucial. It helps us make better decisions about the people we allow into our lives and how we spend our time. For example, if someone consistently displays negative body language, avoids eye contact, or speaks condescendingly, these may be signs of harboring negative feelings. In such moments, it's essential to remain grounded, not absorb their negativity, and protect your emotional health. Modern Stoicism teaches us to build resilience in the face of emotional challenges. While we cannot control others' actions, we can control how we respond to them. If we allow ourselves to be constantly impacted by others' behavior, we risk becoming victims of our environment. Practicing Stoic principles enables us to detach from harmful dynamics and focus on what we can control: our actions, reactions, and emotional well-being. In today's fast-paced world, where external judgments and social validation often cloud our judgment, this Stoic wisdom is more valuable than ever. Understanding human dynamics is more important than ever in today's society, where people often prioritize status, appearance, and superficial judgments. By learning to observe subtle behavioral cues, we can protect ourselves from toxic energy and focus on relationships that genuinely nurture us. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If we allow negativity or insincerity to constantly affect us, we diminish the quality of our emotional life. However, by paying attention to the behaviors around us and responding thoughtfully, we can protect our peace and create space for more genuine, positive relationships. The more attuned we are to the emotional landscape of those around us, the easier it becomes to identify who deserves our time and who might be draining our energy. By cultivating relationships that enrich us, we safeguard our emotional well-being from people who may not have our best interests at heart. The core message here is that emotional intelligence is an invaluable skill for navigating human dynamics with ease and awareness. When we master emotional intelligence, we are not easily swept up in the negativity or insincerity of others. Instead, we remain grounded, protect our energy, and choose our relationships wisely. By integrating modern Stoicism into our lives, we avoid getting bogged down by the actions of others and focus on cultivating emotional resilience. We do not need to be passive victims of the dynamics around us. Rather, we can be the masters of how we choose to respond. Whether in personal relationships, at work, or in social settings, emotional intelligence and Stoic wisdom empower us to protect our peace, invest in relationships that truly matter, and live a more fulfilling, resilient life. Number 2. Prioritize yourself. In the hustle and bustle of life, it's easy to forget about yourself, especially when you're constantly surrounded by people who demand your attention. But here's the truth. In order to build meaningful and lasting relationships, you must prioritize yourself. It might seem counterintuitive, but focusing on your own well-being is essential to giving the best version of yourself to others. This starts with setting clear boundaries. Without them, people can easily take advantage of your kindness, leaving you feeling drained, unappreciated, and emotionally spent. Have you ever felt that way? Like you're constantly giving, but no one seems to recognize or appreciate it? That's a sign that you need to prioritize your own needs. And no, self-care is not selfish. It's necessary for your own health and for the strength of your relationships. The ability to say no when it's needed is one of the most powerful ways to protect your emotional bandwidth, ensuring that you can pour into the relationships that truly matter. It's not about being cold or rejecting others, but about preserving your energy to nurture the connections that uplift you. When you prioritize yourself, you become a more balanced person, one who can give to others without losing your own sense of self. Here's a lesson I want you to remember. By prioritizing your emotional, mental, and physical health, you create a foundation strong enough to handle the challenges life throws at you, especially when it comes to difficult relationships. Sometimes, that means recognizing when a relationship has become toxic or draining. Have you ever stayed in a friendship, family dynamic, or work relationship because you felt guilty about distancing yourself, even when it was clear that the relationship wasn't beneficial for you? The truth is, you have every right to protect your peace. This doesn't mean cutting ties at the first sign of trouble, but rather recognizing when a relationship no longer serves your well-being. It's important to protect your emotional resources by setting firm boundaries with those who don't respect them. Think about it. When you take care of yourself, through exercise, meditation, hobbies, or even just resting, you're preparing yourself to be the best version of you. This not only helps you deal with life's challenges, but also makes you better equipped to handle those tough relationships without feeling burned out. By putting yourself first, you're not just taking care of your own needs, you're showing others how to value you. And in turn, the people around you will start to treat you with the same respect and care that you give yourself. Let me tell you a story to drive this point home. A close friend of mine found herself constantly overwhelmed by a colleague who was always asking for help. At first, she was more than happy to help, but as time went on, it became clear that her colleague was taking advantage of her kindness. She felt drained and unappreciated. Have you ever been in a situation like that, where you felt like you were always giving but never receiving in return? One day, my friend decided to take a step back and reevaluate the relationship. She realized that she needed to set some boundaries, so she told her colleague that she could no longer help out with certain tasks unless they were more urgent or needed her expertise. The shift wasn't easy, but over time her colleague respected her boundaries and my friend found that she was no longer exhausted by the constant demands. In fact, she felt more energized, and her relationship with this colleague improved. This is a perfect example of how prioritizing yourself, by setting boundaries, can lead to a healthier dynamic. The key to healthy relationships is balance. By investing in yourself, you are not only better equipped to handle challenges, but you're also teaching others how to respect and value you. The Stoic secret to maintaining your emotional health and relationships is to focus on what you can control, your own actions and reactions. When you take the time to nurture yourself, you become more resilient, more grounded, and ultimately, more capable of giving love and support to others without losing yourself in the process. Are you truly prioritizing your own well-being, or are you letting others drain you? By setting boundaries and taking care of yourself, you create the foundation for a happier, healthier life. The Stoic approach teaches us that self-care isn't selfish. It's a necessary part of living a balanced and fulfilling life. Protect your peace, respect your boundaries, and remember that by valuing yourself, you teach others to do the same. Number 3. Accept reality. Acceptance is a powerful tool for navigating the highs and lows of life. While it's natural to want to be liked by everyone, the reality is that not everyone will like you, and that's perfectly fine. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can free yourself from the constant pressure to gain others' approval. The pursuit of universal approval is exhausting, distracting you from your true goals and distorting your sense of self-worth. In modern life, we are bombarded with social pressures and external expectations. Yet, as the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This speaks not just to material wealth, but to inner peace. The more we seek validation from others, the more we deplete our own sense of contentment. When we learn to validate ourselves and accept our inherent worth, we unlock a peace that allows us to navigate the world confidently. In a world that often values conformity, self-acceptance becomes even more essential. People will always have their preferences, biases, and judgments, and we may not always fit into their expectations. But remember, your value is not dependent on someone else's approval. Modern Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control how others perceive us, we have full control over how we respond to those perceptions. When we accept this truth, we free ourselves from the weight of others' judgments. Instead of chasing external validation, we begin to find peace within, grounded in the belief that our worth is intrinsic, not dictated by others' fleeting preferences. As you internalize this, you'll notice a profound shift in your mental and emotional well-being. No longer will you feel the need to mold yourself to meet others' expectations, but rather, you'll allow your true self to emerge, unburdened by fear of rejection or disapproval. Embracing rejection is a key part of this process. Rejection often feels personal, as though it's a judgment on our inadequacy. However, from a Stoic perspective, rejection is not about our worth but about an alignment issue, whether our needs, desires, and values align with someone else's. Reframing rejection in this way shifts it from a negative experience to a valuable learning opportunity. Rather than internalizing hurt, we can see it as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to reflect on relationships, to better understand our own needs, and to reassess the values that guide us. It's not the rejection itself that causes suffering, but our emotional reaction to it. The Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control teaches us to detach from the emotional weight of rejection and channel that energy into becoming the best version of ourselves. Moreover, embracing rejection creates space for those who genuinely appreciate us for who we are. Not everyone is meant to be a part of our journey, and that's okay. By accepting this, we stop wasting emotional energy on relationships that drain us or fail to support our growth. Rejection, then, becomes a gift, clearing the way for healthier, more fulfilling connections. As the Roman Stoic Seneca wisely said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. In other words, the fear of rejection often causes more distress than the rejection itself. Learning to accept rejection frees us from unnecessary suffering and emotional turmoil, allowing us to move forward with greater clarity. The more you embrace acceptance, the more peace and confidence you will find within yourself. Letting go of the need for everyone to like you allows you to focus on relationships and pursuits that truly add value to your life. This shift toward self-acceptance and emotional maturity empowers you to invest your time and energy in people who genuinely care about you, who align with your values, and who support your growth. As a result, you will move forward with a sense of purpose and clarity, unshaken by the opinions of others. Instead of seeking external validation, turn inward and focus on your growth, well-being, and authenticity. This is the essence of modern Stoicism, embracing what you can control, your reactions, your growth, and your journey, while releasing what you cannot control, such as the opinions of others. By practicing acceptance, you can navigate life with greater peace, resilience, and confidence, knowing that your value is not contingent on the approval of others, but rooted in your own sense of self-worth. As we wrap up today's video on 9 shocking signs someone secretly dislikes you, remember this: your self-worth is not determined by the opinions of others, but by how you treat yourself and those around you. Stand tall, live confidently, and keep moving forward with purpose. Life is too short to invest in shallow connections. Focus on relationships that truly lift you up and contribute to your growth. The wisdom of modern Stoicism teaches us to navigate life's challenges with resilience and clarity, and to surround ourselves with positivity. So, take a moment today to reflect. Are you spending your energy on relationships that empower you? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Share your experiences and let's inspire each other to live our best lives. Don't forget to like and share this video if you found value in it, and stay tuned for more insights on Stoic living here at Stoic in Your Life.